The best of the best. The elite of the bass fishing world. They have the technique, they have the knowledge, and they put bass in the boat when the money's on the line. Get ready for a special stop on the Bassmaster Tournament Trail. The Bass Angler Sportsman Society presents a Bassmaster Tournament Trail Special Edition. Hello, I'm Don Day, and welcome to another special edition of the Bassmaster Tournament Trail. Today's guest professional is, well, I guess you could call him a man for all seasons. In fact, his biography reads like a novel. Bernie Schultz was born in Sanford, Florida, and grew up on the shores of Lake Markham. Living far from town, Bernie was distanced from other children his age and was faced with the reality of entertaining himself. Bernie began to explore the world around him and developed a love for the water, fishing, and sketching those experiences. At 14, Bernie's family moved to Miami, where his father owned and operated a fish market in Coconut Grove. Bernie took advantage of invitations to fish with his father's suppliers and expanded his involvement in the world of inshore saltwater angling. Bernie had also become involved with competitive swimming and surfing, and trips to the Caribbean, California, and Mexico all became opportunities to wet a line. After high school, Bernie entered the University of Florida as an illustration advertising major. Receiving an invitation to join a bass club from one of his instructors, Bernie met his soon-to-be fishing partner, Shaw Grigsby, and discovered the excitement of competitive bass fishing. Today, Bernie Schultz is a regular on the Kmart Top 150 Tournament Trail and has made numerous trips to the Bassmasters Classic. He's also an accomplished international author, columnist, lecturer, and his illustrations appear in numerous books and magazines. So let's join him now.
Thanks, Don. Today we're on a lake in central Florida. This lake's typical of a lot of the small lakes in this area. I've never been on this lake before. I'm going to try a variety of lures and techniques, and I'm going to try and figure out what the bass are doing. That's what we call pattern fishing. So stick around. We'll be right back with some exciting fishing.
Welcome back to today's special edition of the Bassmaster Tournament Trail. Let's go back to Bernie Schultz.
Okay, this morning, got real nice balmy temperatures. One of my favorite approaches to any new lake, if the temperatures are reasonable, is to try top water. I'm going to use this headbanger buzz bait. I'm going to try and cover as much water as possible. This thing makes a lot of noise, so it can attract fish. It can pull fish from a pretty good distance. If that doesn't work, I'll probably slow down and use a spinner bait and still try to cover as much water until I locate some fish. If the fish are aggressive at all and they're shallow, they should respond to the lure. The temperature's warm enough. We'll just have to see. The watercolor's a little stained for a buzz bait, but we're going to give it a try. It's important when you throw a buzz bait to get the thing going as soon as it touches the water. You don't want the thing to sink down at all. Make your cast, engage your reel as soon as that thing's about to touch the water and get it going. So often the strike will happen in the first turn of the reel. And if you're not quick with your retrieve, you'll miss that opportunity. It's important when you throw a buzz bait to get the thing going as soon as Got a shallow flat extending off of this point. Boat's sitting in about 12 feet of water, and I'm probably buzzing less than 3 feet right there. Try a spinner bait real quick. This looks too good to pass up. Got the breeze blowing right in on this little point here, and if there's any shad pushed up here with the wave action, with the wind, the bass might be right there looking for them. So many people make the mistake of going to the leeward side of a lake when the wind starts blowing a little bit. We obviously don't have a lot of wind this morning, but if it were blowing hard, most people would avoid this shoreline completely. They'd go to the calm side, and that's a huge mistake. bait fish are more active on a breezier shore, and the bass are right there if the bait fish are moving around. You got less competition from other anglers, and you got fish that are more active. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. There he is. To figure out that's going to be a good deal. What a nice fish. That's a good start. Now a 2.5 pounder. You eat that little spinnerbait right up. All right, maybe we can get another one here. I love it. I got some brush in the water here. It looks like old willow trees. And that'll hold a fish a lot of times. It doesn't take much to hold a bass. In fact, it might only need, there he is, small guy. Well, they're fun fish, though. They jump. They're eating that thing up. A little smaller, but we'll get a big one here in a minute, I think. I feel it. I can feel it. Yeah, he was on that willow tree right there in the water. It doesn't take much to hold a bass. Here we go. Oh, nice spot. Well, that short me right there, right by the boat. Oh boy, that's a strong, strong fish. Come here, buddy. All right. This is getting to be fun. Boy, I'd take that in any tournament. That's the kind of fish that win tournaments right there. If you can average that kind of fish, you're going to be way up in the money. Stick around. We'll be right back with some more fishing. The reason fishing is important to me is it's probably the only thing I've ever really identified with since childhood. You know, growing up and going into manhood, all I can ever relate to was water and pursuing sports in or around water. Ever since I was young, I just picked up a pen and spent time doodling, and it kind of developed from there, and I'm still doodling, but I get a little bit of money for it now, and it ties into my fishing. The artwork that I do is relative to fishing, to the magazines that I work for. When I'm out trying to find fish or I'm studying the habitat that the bass are utilizing, I try to use a very detailed approach, and I'm looking for the subtleties and stuff, and I think there's, you know, the fact that I can visualize pretty well underwater what's going on probably helps me. So I think there's a lot of similarities in art and fishing. Right now, the art project that would mean most to me would be illustrating the winning pattern for my own victory in one of these tournaments. Okay, we obviously had a lot of success with a spinnerbait earlier. I'm going to try a lipless crankbait. These are kind of similar. They cover a lot of water in a hurry. They help me eliminate water when I'm looking for fish. The advantage to these is they look more like a shad or some kind of bait fish the bass would be feeding on, and they also have a hollow sound chamber inside. They make a lot of noise. That can, along with the flash, can attract bass from a good distance. Here we go. Little guy. You got those treble hooks, you got to really take your time or you can tear them off. This guy's barely hooked. He's not big, but he's barely hooked. He's got one of the two hooks in his mouth. Boy, these things are sharp. Oh, here they are. Lipless crankbait. Got a little shoreline runner there. Just like a spinnerbait, a lipless crankbait will help you find fish in a hurry, eliminate a lot of water with it. Noisy, flashy, and attracts bass. See if we can get another one here. There we go. Oh, this is a good fish here now. Oh man, come on, baby. God almighty, he swallowed that crankbait. Just take your time with these big fish. Don't get in a hurry. This is when a limber rod and light line will really pay off. Oh, this is a pig. Come on, baby. Stay away from the trolling motor. Boy, if you could catch this kind of fish in tournaments, on a regular basis. Yeah, what a fish. Boy, it's all in her mouth. I don't know how I'm going to get my hand in there to get her in the boat. Oh, man, what a fish. Jeez. Woo! That's what a lipless crankbait can do for you. This fish is pushing 8 pounds. That's a hot spot, and that's a hot fish. Well, I tell you what, stick around. We'll be right back with the Bassmasters. What a fish. Thank you. All right.
Don Day welcoming you back to our Bassmaster Special Edition. Let's go back to our guest professional now, Bernie Schultz in Central Florida.
Okay, we obviously had success with a spinnerbait and a lipless crankbait. Now I'm going to try what's known as a jerkbait. This is a long A bomber, and this thing basically darts and you twitch it underwater. The fish get excited because it looks like it's struggling, and a lot of times it'll provoke an inactive bass. You use the same basic tackle, 10 to 14 pound test line, and a lighter action rod so that you have a little forgiveness in case you hook one. Got a beautiful lay-down tree up here. We might get bit on this thing, jerking around that. Some of these lures will float, and some are designed to float up slowly or suspend. And a lot of that will be determined by what the fish want. Generally, in shallow water, I use a floater. If I'm fishing a drop-off or I'm fishing over deeper structure, then I'll try a suspending model. There we go, hooked up. Little guy, boy, he's small. I didn't guarantee you a big fish, but they do attract all size fish. Boy, you're small. Good thing he wasn't on the other side of the lake. That big one would have eaten him. Thanks for the effort. You get an A for effort, fish. See if we can get bit on a jig here. Boy, this is picture perfect. This is a prime piece of cover here, and I promise you there's times when fish are using it. They may not be on it now, but boy, he was tight in there. Come on, buddy. Oh, yeah, and that's a nice one, too. That's a nice one right there. When you're trying to catch cover-tight bass, there's nothing better than pitching or flipping. Puts the bait in there quietly and accurately. If the fish are not ready to feed, really, sometimes you can provoke them. Well, we've been successful on a lot of different baits, but I'm going to go back to a spinnerbait because the conditions are changing. We got low skies, the clouds come in, the wind's picked up, and I'm going to finish up with a spinnerbait and see if we can't get a quality bite here. There he is. Oh boy, that's a good one too. Oh, he's all in the tree. There we go. Come here, buddy. All right. Fell out of his mouth after all that. That's what a spinnerbait will get you when the clouds move in. Stick around, we'll be right back with some more tips on the Bassmasters.
The Pros Pointer, brought to you by Wrangler Rugged Wear.
Let's talk lures. This morning we started with a headbanger buzzbait. This thing makes a lot of noise. I like to throw it in mornings on any body of water and have a good chance of finding fish in a hurry with a buzzbait. When it failed, I decided to go to a spinnerbait. It's a subsurface approach with essentially the same lure. It covers water effectively, it goes through cover real well, and it was obviously a good choice today. After the spinnerbait, I went to a lipless crankbait. This is called a Cordell Hotspot, and obviously it was a good choice. We caught the big fish with this. It's a noisy bait, and it really can attract fish from a long distance. The next choice was a long A bomber. This is a jerk bait. It simulates a struggling bait fish. It wasn't the best choice today, but there are days when this is the only thing to throw. The last lure that we used was a jig with a Riverside Big Claw trailer. This was the choice I made when I was fishing tight in this laydown tree behind me and caught that one fish, and also in the reeds over there. They're really good for a precise, detailed approach when fish are holding tight to the cover. Take these lures, try them on your water, and I'll bet you're successful too. Good luck. Today we were successful on a variety of lures and techniques. Basically, I use the same approach to any lake or river I travel to across the country. I start with lures that travel fast, cover lots of water efficiently and effectively. And once I figure out what depth or the type of cover the fish are relating to, then I slow down with a more precise approach. Try that, and I think you too will be successful in the lake or river that you're fishing.
You can't fish with Bernie Schultz and not appreciate his precise, exacting approach to the sport. Attention to detail and knowledge attained from years on the water make him one of the leading BASS competitors today. I'm Don Day. Thanks for joining us, and remember to check out the latest issue of Bassmaster magazine. So long, everyone. The Bassmaster Tournament Trail has been brought to you by the Bass Anglers Sportsman Society, Ranger Boats, Wrangler Rugged Wear, Quantum, Chevy Trucks, Mercury Outboards, Motor Guide, Bass Pro Shops, Berkeley, Jersey's Activewear, Pennzoil, and by Raytheon.